All right, Tristan. Well, there was a bird that was a bully this weekend, and that bird was an eagle. And that eagle was led by Jalen Hurts. The Eagles put a beatdown on the Bengals, 37-17. I mean, it never looked close. The score couldn't even be any further apart. They might as well have scored 0 because it looked awful. It was an awful outing by the Bengals. It looked like the Eagles had it all on point this week. So my question to you is, have the Eagles finally hit their stride?
I definitely think they've hit a stride. I don't know if it's their stride. I don't know how much it'll carry over. So I'm going to be honest. If anyone watched the pig, saw us talk about this, I thought the Bengals would win this game because I kind of thought they were a slightly better football team. I obviously thought they had the better quarterback and the better coach, which I obviously still think they do. But the Bengals' inability to run really bit them. And this was the first time it looked like the Eagles were playing a complete football game, like a complete team. It wasn't them having to just rely on Saquon Barkley or just rely on the defense. They all put it together. Jalen Hurts didn't blow you away throwing the ball, but he did enough. 16 for 20, 236 yards and a touchdown, 37 yards running. He had 3 touchdowns, obviously, because of the goal line stuff. Saquon Barkley, 108 yards as well. And defensively, they did really well. They held the Bengals to 58 yards rushing. That's kind of been the story of the Bengals this year. It just looks like they're rounding into form at the right time. My problem is I don't know what to take away from it. Like, I don't know if they're a team that can win playoff games, if they're like a legit contender, or if they can sneak in and get beat. I want to show you their statistics, though, for the year. Let's pull up this graphic. It's better than you think. So obviously the pass yards, not great. They're 20th, but they're 10th in pass yards on defense. They're the second best offensive rush yard team, 8th rush defense, 10th in points per game offensively, 7th in points allowed defensively, and then in total yards, 8th across the board. So other than pass yards, offensive pass yards, which is down, they're top 10 in almost every single category. And I genuinely was surprised by that. When I was doing show prep for this, I was like, let me just look up and see where they register everybody everywhere because they had such a good game. They're top 10. If they can maintain this level of play, they'll be good. I think the defense is starting to come together. That's the biggest part. And if Jalen Hurts can just not make mistakes and play a little bit more consistently, I mean, they can be a dangerous football team. I'm not ready to buy the stock of the Eagles, but this is promising for Philly fans.
Well, let's be honest, you couldn't afford it anyway.
No, I'm broke.
But Devontae Smith did show up this game, which was nice. He had that great touchdown grab from Jalen Hurts, which was a beautiful throw and catch. So it does seem like this Eagles team is putting together what we think is a stride of some sort. You said it best. I don't know if it's their stride, but it's a stride. I do think that the Eagles have a pretty good schedule coming up. So I think that's something that's going to help them out, and maybe they can squeak out the win in the NFC East. You look at the next few games, They have the Jags, the Cowboys, which, the Cowboys are, like you said earlier,
a disaster.
Before the show, we don't have the energy to talk about how bad the Cowboys are. But then the matchup of all matchups, a game that everybody will be tuned in for, they play the Commanders Thursday night, prime time, 7:15. It's going to be fun. It's going to be at Philadelphia. That's the game to watch. That may be the game to decide the winner of the NFC East. It could be.
It absolutely could be. Right now, they're, I think, a game behind. I think they're a game behind Washington as we head into today. So, yeah, they're one game behind. They got to play them twice. So that game's going to tell us a lot, assuming both teams keep on the track. I have a friend who's an Eagles fan, and he asked me today, he said, do you think the Eagles can win the East? And even he said, he was like, I was just thinking it was Washington, but after this week, I think we got a shot. And I told him, a true analyst here, I don't know. I said, I want to see them play each other. Not because of just the final score. Like, one team could win that game and I could go with the other. I just want to see what the matchup looks like because I'm not sure. I want to see the Eagles be able to win a game without relying completely on Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, that's right. And it does seem like, when we talk about the winner of the NFC East, you look at the Commanders and it just seems that luck may be on their side after what happened on Sunday. It's one of those years for the Commanders where it just seems like everything's falling into place for them. But I do think that this is going to really come down to the defenses. I think both offenses can score just fine. I think it's really going to be up to what defense shows up, when they play each other twice this year. It's going to be who has the better defense. And right now, I think I would lean the Eagles have the better defense.
I think so. I think the Eagles' defense is more consistent, and they've got a lot of young players. So as those players continue to get better, because that's really what we've seen from Philly's defense. It's just the young players getting better, getting more comfortable playing together, playing as a unit week by week by week. That defense is getting better and better and better. And Hurts has gotten a little better too. I know he's still not what people want from him, but as long as he can mitigate the mistakes and rely on Saquon Barkley in the defense, the Eagles can go as far as that unit can take them.
And not to shy away from the fact that the Commanders' defense is getting better week to week. Like they
Absolutely.
are improving. They allowed 7 points to the Panthers last week, which I know it's the Panthers, but they also hung 40 on them. And then this week playing against the Bears, a really tough defense. They did score 18 points, and they only allowed 15. So I think they shut Caleb Williams down completely. Like in case you didn't realize, Caleb Williams was non-existent, especially if you played him in fantasy over Kyler Murray. I don't know who would have done that.
Idiots, that's who.
I tell you what, just don't listen to everybody's recommendations. Go with your gut on fantasy football. Do not listen to other people's recommendations. Just do what you think is best. Anyway, I digress on that. The Commanders' defense is getting better. Jaden Daniels is playing lights out, even with, 4 ribs broken or whatever it is. He gets wrapped up on the sideline, gets a kiss from his mommy, comes back into the game. He's good to go.
Throws dimes.
The dude's playing great. It's going to be really interesting to see how the NFC East shakes out, because I do believe that it's between the Eagles and the Commanders in this division.
No doubt. 100% it's between those two. I can't wait to see that first matchup.